Hello divas and dollies, welcome back to my channel. As you can see here, I've got these 3 Sassy Stampede Bratz divas. I feel like I was just seeing leaks for these dolls like literally last week, and then within the week I was literally ordering them and not like pre-ordering them, but like I'm getting way too ahead of myself. This is obviously the newest Bratz line that they released. Although that statement is probably going to be out of date when I upload this, because I feel like recently Bratz has been releasing stuff like so frequently that like once you're up to date on something, they release something else and then you aren't. So yeah, as you can see here, I've got these 3 gorgeous divas, and the way that they look is honestly like definitely so Wild Wild West inspired and like rodeo inspired, and just I love the whole aesthetic of it all in general. Especially seeing the characters of color wearing it. I feel like you only really see the white girls in this kind of like Western, like Americana, like Wild West kind of like attire, but you know, Bratz has always like put the like all the other girls in it too, and the aesthetic makes them look really nice. I am missing Jade because Walmart did not have her for some reason, but they had the rest of these divas, so I'm just gonna have to order her later and like review her in a separate video. But for now, we have Miss Angel, Miss Pretty Princess, and Miss Bunny Boo. I'm gonna start off with Miss Sasha really quickly because, well, honestly, I feel like her colors are the most like striking on her for some reason. I'm already gonna get ahead of myself, but I was also really liking Jade's design. I feel like she had my favorite color palette of the whole entire line. Especially those like kind of like dark fuchsia streaks of like, you know, purple in her hair and whatnot. I really do like that, but especially with, you know, Sasha and with Yasmin's hair color and like makeup, I feel like the colors that they chose for them really like have everything stand out. And it's very pretty whenever they give Sasha blue eyes. I love it whenever the Bratz dolls like subtly look so different from like the last release, you know what I mean? And that's what Bratz was really good at back in the day, in the early 2000s, from line to line. Like, not every Sasha looked the same, you know what I mean? Even this Sasha over here, who was literally the new it girl at the start of last summer, they don't really look that similar here, you know what I mean? 2 different aesthetics, 2 different hair colors, haircuts, vibes, makeup even, but yeah, I really love what Bratz did and what they're continuously like doing with their divas, you know what I mean? Here we got the little logos right over here, and it just says Bratz, and it's got a little B with a heart on it, and the packaging is very, I guess, like playing card themed or whatever. We just have Sasha's little name right here and like this little lasso rope logo, and we got this little black and white photo of her on a card, as well as the window into everything that the doll comes with, and the little artwork, as well as the line logo and just like her name in general. The boxes are basically the same for all of these other divas. I don't know why, but over here, Miss Yasmin is like kind of giving Sydney Sweeney, but I'm gonna forgive her, really. But yeah, got the front of that. And once we move on to the back, we just have this really cunty group photo of all of the divas and Jade taunting me. I really need to get that diva so that I can complete the line. But yeah, it just says Sassy Stampede right over here, and it has this little artwork that you can cut off. It's got little perforated lines and everything. And the little text just says, "Wrangle your besties, because the Bratz are right into the Wild West in style. So bold it's practically outlawed." Love that for them, really. There wasn't really that much on the back of the box, and honestly, these boxes aren't like anything too groundbreaking or whatever. I do really like the graphic design of it all, and just the fact that the backgrounds kind of make them look like they're, I guess, just like out in like the city or whatever, in front of like a saloon or like bar. But yeah, that was Miss Sasha's box. And here we have Yasmin's. Like I said, they are literally the same box, just like, you know, different like artwork for the individual girlies. I really do love the way that Yasmin's looks, especially the way that they used her little pretty princess frog symbol. That's cute as hell. And we got Miss Yasmin, and here we have Miss Chloe. I don't know why, but this Chloe is kind of giving like Madonna, like, to me. I literally do not know why, but she's just giving like Madonna, you know what I mean? Like, she's just looking for her little holiday. Anyways, got the Sassy Stampede. more of that little artwork. And I will say that the artwork for these divas is actually like the best I've like ever seen the Bratz like artwork look, honestly. I really love the style for them. It definitely makes them look just like the dolls, but like stylized enough that, you know, it translates well into like a 2D, like, I guess, you know, animated looking thing. I really do like them though. Especially these character models right here. I really hope we get like some sort of like stickers or like anything to do with like these artworks that I could like make a scrapbook with and whatnot. But yeah, in the next clip these divas are just going to be out of the box. Here we've got all three of these Sassy Stampede divas out of the box, and the first impressions are honestly really nice. If you couldn't already tell, these divas have like a whole bunch of like hair gel or like hairspray in their hair. I don't know what it is, but it's like styled and curled up and like heavily gelled, so I am gonna have to be washing it at some point, but I feel like the hair still feels soft as fuck, just not the ones with like the actual like gel in the curls, you know what I mean? It seems to be this like really high grade nylon that they like to use a lot for like recent Bratz dolls. And I literally cannot get over Yasmin and Sasha's face cards right now. Like, look at them. Look at these divas. They're looking directly into your souls because they know something about you. They really do, y'all. And just like the vibe and like aesthetics in general, I really enjoy this. The only things that I really do not agree with are these really cheap plasticky Dollar Tree 99-cent store, dime store type of like, you know, cheap plastic that they used for the cowboy hats. I guess it's better quality because they put a little invisible strap right there so it doesn't fall off of your doll, but like, they honestly should have just included like fabric hats or like, I don't know, something of a more durable material, honestly. I understand that like kids aren't like really buying these Bratz dolls and like collecting them, but like, I don't know, I feel like some child is gonna end up with this doll and this is gonna be the first thing that like either gets lost, broken, or like completely disintegrates on them, you know what I mean? And like, I understand that these are budget dolls, but like, can we please give them like good quality accessories if they're gonna come with them? Like, please and thank you. Only other thing that they come with are these little playing cards that you can like rip out of the back of the box. I accidentally ripped Chloe's a bit, so I'm gonna have to tape that up. But the rest of these divas cards have been unharmed, thankfully. I really do love the way that this kind of like looks like a wanted poster, but like, I know it's also supposed to be just a playing card. And we have all the little divas with their little Instagram baddie faces and their little symbols. Just like serving absolute country, you know what I mean? But yeah, first diva I'm gonna be starting off with is Miss Madonna Chloe Angel over here. If you couldn't already tell, the lip mold has like a heart-shaped like tooth cut out or whatever, or like not cut out, but the teeth showing is in the shape of a heart, if I'm explaining that correctly. As you can see, Miss Chloe has these like very bluish eyes with a little bit of brown in it and what seems to be a little bit of gray. And she has on this very cute cunty-ass makeup. Honestly, kind of looks like pageant queen makeup from back in the day, in my opinion at least. Seems to be this like very frosty pale silver eyeshadow on her brow bone, mixed in with a little bit of this like really pale brown shade, and this like kind of white pale like blue on the lid and whatnot. And she's got on this kind of like muted brown eyeliner on her waterline, as well as this black winged eyeliner with like the little extra eyelash details. And they gave Miss Chloe a little beauty mark over here, and I really love that for her. I think Chloe looks really good when they give her beauty marks. And she's just got on this kind of like pinkish fuchsia blush, and these dark red lips with an even darker red lip liner. And like I said, the lip mold is in the shape of like, it has the teeth in the shape of a heart, which is very cutesy. I've never seen them do that before. And then she's kind of got this like strawberry blonde shade of like blonde hair. I think it works really well for her. I feel like they tend to usually give Chloe like platinum blonde hair or like this kind of like golden blonde hair a lot of the time. We even see it with like the Scorchin and like with the Christmas release. Like, these two Chloes like definitely do not look alike for sure. And I really do like the hair color that they chose for her because It honestly suits her really well, and I think it goes a little bit with like the like red trimming like of her outfit and whatnot. And speaking of her outfit, she's just got on this like little collared like Wild Wild West like vest looking thing, like vest type shirt with a little red ascot that looks to be like a satin material. And it's just got on these like little printed buttons and like this cheetah leopard print or whatever. And as you can see here, she's just got on this little attached belt with a gold belt buckle and this little micro mini skirt with this kind of like white paneling on the front of it and like this little cheetah leopard print on the sides of it. And I will say that the stitching is really nice on this. And I do like that the collar doesn't look really like oversized and like she has no neck, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes when doll companies do like try to do collars on like the dolls, it like kind of like removes the neck a little bit. And then moving on to these little shoes. They are obviously the like Wild Wild West like cowboy mold or whatever that they like have had for like a while, I think. They're just like not detailed at all, which is like not a bad thing, I guess, because I know these are supposed to be budget dolls, and like I guess it gives me something to do if I want to like make the doll more pretty or like more worth, like more detailed or whatever. But like I don't know, I feel like if you're gonna have like this, at least put like a little bit like of like a different color, you know what I mean? Like she's got all this red going on in her makeup with the trim right over here, like why not paint and like already add like little red details, you know what I mean? Really has to be my only other critique for now, besides these fuck-ass cowboy hats, you know what I mean? But that's all they wrote for Miss Chloe Madonna Angel. Really, really love her. And then we have Miss Yasmin over here. I don't know why, but the second that I saw Yasmin, I like literally started foaming at the mouth, because they don't really give Yasmin blonde hair a lot of the time. And I remember the prototype for one of the fashion designer dolls from like 2007 with like Yasmin in that really like micro mini like fuchsia dress had like blonde hair in the prototype, and then when they finally released her, she just had her regular brown hair, and I felt robbed, you know what I mean? So it's good that they're giving her this kind of like really brassy, almost caramel shade of blonde. I really do like the way it looks on her. I feel like if they used platinum blonde, it would have looked really ashy. She still would have pulled it off anyways, in my opinion, but like, yeah, I really, really do love this hair, and I think it suits her really, really well. Like, look at this diva. Got a couple dents in her fender, and she's got a couple rips in her jeans. Anyways, we just have these very, very arched eyebrows. They kind of look a little like villainous, honestly. She's kind of giving like mean girl in the face, even though that's obviously not Yasmin's personality. But yeah, those eyebrows are very, very thin, very skinny, and very kind of like early 2000s, like penciled on in a way. So are Chloe's, I forgot to mention that before. But moving on to her little eye makeup, she's just got on this little like sparkly brownish, like coralish like eyeshadow on her lid. I don't think there's anything on the brow bone because I'm not really picking anything up. But as you can see on the center of the lid, it's just got this like very shimmery, sparkly like iridescence to it. And she's got these very, very pretty, gorgeous brown eyes. And it's just got little stars in them. And it is not a Yasmin doll without the beauty mark being underneath her left eye. That's how you know it's Yasmin. And we move on to her blush right over here. It's this kind of like very hot orange tone. I don't exactly think that it's like a true red, but it's definitely like a coral tone for sure. And then moving on to these little lips, she's just got on this kind of like nude peachy like mauve-y tone that's like a little dark and like shimmery. And then she's got on this kind of like regular like light brown lip liner on, as well as the little heart in her teeth right there. Very cutesy. I really do love the way that these faces look just in general. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be restyling these, and like you could literally put a potato sack or a tape dress like on these and they're still going to be serving, you know what I mean? And then we move on to this little outfit. This jacket kind of pisses me off a little bit because I never thought we would come to see the day that like Bratz is like printing on like details on their clothing like they're fucking like Mattel or something, you know what I mean? Excuse dusty ass Skipper over here, I really need to clean her, but she's just the example, you know what I mean? She is just the example. But yeah, here we got that printed on detail and fringe, I mean. The only printed on detail that I do really love are the little like swirlies and stars that they have. She's also got this white collar at the top of her little jacket, and if it wasn't already obvious, the material of these outfits are made out of that kind of like faux leather, like suede, like fake leather material that I think disintegrates over time and like peels. So I'm gonna have to find something to kind of like put over these and like, you know, seal it to make sure that these outfits never go bad or disintegrate, because I quite like these outfits and I think they look really cute. But I really disagree with the lack of detail right over here on the jacket. I feel like it only works for like the little swirlies and stars that you see. And like, I do like the printed on detail, don't get me wrong. I feel like it only works for like the buttons and like for the other designs on the actual garment itself though, and not the detail, but you know what I mean. I understand that these are budget dolls anyways and can't really complain too much about that, but yeah, just another little critique, I guess. But she's got this little jacket and this little skirt with this belt on, and it's in this nice like pale baby blue color. I feel like they used to use this color a lot for like Chloe's earlier dolls, especially that first edition one. She was basically like wearing like a variant of this shade. But yeah, it's in this nice pale baby blue with this white trim along the sleeves at the like bottom of them. And she just has this like silver belt buckle with like this little micro mini. And all of the things and like pieces of clothing on these divas are very well constructed and very well sewn together at least. I would expect nothing more from Bratz though, honestly. They always have typically like very good quality control in like the clothes and like the stitching and whatnot. And moving on to her little boots. She's just got on these little heeled Wild Wild West cowboy boots. Very cutesy, very nice. I'm not entirely sure if you can see the detail because the shoes are this kind of like shiny, iridescent, like shimmery like shade or whatever, but they're definitely supposed to be like with eagles on them, I think, and like other painted on details that they did not paint on, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all they wrote for Miss Yasmin. And then finally moving on to Miss Sasha over here. I do think that the shade of red that they use is like very striking on her. Honestly, I feel like her face and hair like is like one of the most like striking I've seen her look in a while. Like they usually like to give Sasha just like the straight up like brunette like black hair, you know what I mean, with like not much dimension, but I really love how for this line they decided to go out of their way to give her this like nice really like ginger shade of like red. It looks very cute on her, and I think it goes really well with like the color scheme overall of like her outfit and whatnot. But moving on to her makeup, I feel like out of these two right here that I have, she's got on like the most like intricate makeup look with like the most like colors and whatnot. She's got on this kind of like neon yellow on her lid, and this kind of like more greenish neon yellow on her brow bone, as well as this kind of like coral peachy shade on her lids and whatnot. And she's just got on brown eyeliner on her like waterline, as well as winged eyeliner and these little like defined lashes. Forgot to mention before, but Yasmin also's got winged eyeliner and the little like drawn on lashes as well. And this Sasha has blue eyes with stars in them, which is very cutesy. And I believe that her blush shade is this kind of like burnt orange tone, maybe like a scarlet or like a reddish orange. And she's kind of got that like same shade on her lips, but a lot more muted and like glossy looking. And she's got on this kind of like purplish brown toned lip liner with the little heart teeth as well. And as we move on to her outfit, she's got on this kind of like base romper looking thing with like a kind of regular like scoop neck like bodice or whatever, and these like little booty shorts with these chaps on them, and this kind of like red and yellow McDonald's looking flame color palette. She's also got on this little belt with a buckle on it, very cutesy. I will say that I love the silhouette of her outfit the most. I'm not entirely sure if I'm digging the whole like vibe of the colors really, but that could just be me, you know what I mean? Every time I see red and yellow, I'm always gonna associate it with like Ronald McDonald's clown ass, so yeah. But I will say that the stitching is really nice on these, and I need to find some sort of sealer to put over these so that they never disintegrate or degrade on me, because I have a 1996 Clueless Amber doll that came in that hot pink 2-piece set that was made out of that fake leather material, and I literally breathed right next to it, and the material basically fell apart and disintegrated on me right on the spot. So yeah, gonna try to do all I can to like save these and like preserve these, you know what I mean? But I think overall this line is really neat. I love to see Bratz kind of like going back and like playing with other lines that they kind of like have already done before, you know what I mean? Not to say that they've already like done this specific thing before, but like we've already seen them do like Wild Wild West lines, like Western inspired lines in general. And we hadn't seen them do it in like a while, so it's nice to see them kind of playing around with like different aspects of like, you know, lines that they used to, you know, have at the forefront, you know what I mean? And I really, really cannot wait to get Jade. I don't know why they didn't have her on Walmart. Maybe she just didn't make it there yet. Maybe she just like sold out on there, but like I need to get Jade so I can round out the little Bratz pack, because I feel like Jade honestly might have my favorite color scheme of the whole entire line. Not necessarily the outfit per se, but just like the color of it in general. I think Yasmin's outfit might be my favorite, but I feel like it's really too early for me to start choosing favorites right now. But yeah, really love the way that these divas look. And I just think that with everything going on in the world right now and like on social media, that, you know, I really just needed to get these little divas to bring me some joy, you know what I mean? I feel like they were literally leaking online like last week, and then within the week I was literally ordering them, and that's kind of crazy to me. I kind of like had realized that they were going to do a Western inspired themed line because I think some people on Instagram were talking about it, but like I didn't really know the extent of it until they were like finally here and the stock photos were finally like online and uploaded. But yeah, overall I think this line is very neat, and I do think that we need to start releasing more budget lines for toys. Not everybody can pay $36 upon retail for something, or $40, or like $50, you know what I mean? Just because it has a collector price tag, or because it has some sort of sought after collaboration or whatever. But like, I think we need more budget dolls with like more thought put into them, especially for Bratz too, you know what I mean? I feel like Scorchin was definitely a really neat like introduction like last summer to them kind of like doing this like budget type doll, but this is definitely like another great like foray into that. I just want to see them do like more with it, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of like things you can get away with in like a budget line, you know what I mean? You don't have to like do as much in terms of like accessories or like second outfits and whatnot. And I know that like people want to start seeing Bratz with the second outfits again, but I'm talking specifically for like the budget dolls. People are still gonna eat them up and buy them anyways if you like just release them in one standard themed outfit for like, you know, below $20, you know what I mean? Because I feel like getting a Bratz doll for $15 to like $20.99 is like such a steal, you know what I mean? Like, why would you not want to like partake in that? And just like overall in general, the box and like the boxes on Bratz dolls like tend to be very, very hard to open, and like just like a little cantankerous because of all that plastic and all that tape that they use. But like, I feel like that's really the only other thing that they need to improve on, is just like the packaging, because that shit is so hard to open for no reason. I'm overall really happy about this line, and just like incredibly impressed that they were able to leak and that I was able to literally get them when they released like within a couple of days. That literally never happens to me like at all. And yeah, these dolls were basically just being introduced to us on social media, and then overnight everybody was buying them. So like, I guess good on MGA's part for not having us like wait that long for these, but like, yeah, they were really, really quick with this one. And like, I honestly hope that we start to see more like themed Bratz doll like budget lines, you know what I mean? I feel like they're already feeding us in terms of like the regular lines that like, you know, are costing above $25. So I'd like to see what they can do for a much cheaper price point, honestly. And I just love the whole entire vibe and like just aesthetic of this line in general. Love them for it. It's kind of giving Saddle Club, not really though, because I know that they weren't like using these like heavy Western like themes or whatever, but like it's kind of giving Saddle Club to me, you know what I mean? Like, look at these divas. I know Jade is missing from here, but like I will be adding her at some point whenever I can. Literally as soon as I can, you know what I mean? But yeah, overall this line is like perfect. Nearly, I guess. There are some things I cannot forgive, you know what I mean? But like, overall I think they did like a really good job. And I think you should go ahead and get any of these divas if you're really thinking about it. I mean, just look at the hair and the face cards. Why would you want to miss out on this? You know what I mean? But now we're basically near the end of the video, but I just wanted to add that I can definitely see some like little details from the artwork that like they obviously did not include. First of all, these like little lip belt buckles, and as well as that, like painted detail on the shoes, you know what I mean, as well as like painted detail on some of the freaking hats, if not all of them. So I wonder why they didn't like try to go ahead and stick to that, because like I understand that this is like the artwork and whatnot, and like it's really not supposed to represent the final like physical doll that you're supposed to get, but like come on now, you bitches couldn't go ahead and like even paint like a little bit of extra detail on the hats, or like actually keep the like lip belt buckles. I feel like that makes so much sense for Bratz, and that would have been a lot more cuntier in my opinion. Plus the painted on like detail on the shoes. Clearly the artwork has it, but like y'all aren't gonna include it on the actual dolls, like what's with that? But yeah, other than that, I think that these dolls are eating and that you should go out and get them if you really want to. But yeah, I will see you divas in the next video, and hopefully I can get Jade soon. Bye y'all, stay safe.